The morning sky over New York City changed from blue to silver in a matter of seconds. Sarah Chen dropped her coffee mug as she watched through her laboratory window. The ceramic shattered on the floor, but she barely noticed. Above the city, massive ships floated like dark clouds. They were unlike anything humans had ever built. The ships were enormous. Each one was at least 10 miles long and shaped like giant crystals. Their surfaces reflected light in strange patterns that hurt to look at directly. There were 12 of them hanging over major cities around the world: London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, Los Angeles, and 7 others all reported the same thing. The aliens had arrived. Sarah worked for the Global Defense Initiative. For the past 15 years, she had been studying pieces of alien technology that crashed on Earth. Most people did not know about these crashes. The governments kept them secret. But Sarah knew the truth. Aliens had been visiting Earth for decades, and sometimes their ships had accidents. Her phone rang. It was General Morrison, her boss at the GDI. "Chen, get to the command center now. We have a situation." Sarah ran through the halls of the underground facility. Scientists and military personnel were rushing everywhere. Red lights flashed on the walls. When she reached the command center, dozens of screens showed the alien ships floating over Earth's cities. "Status report," General Morrison called out. 12 ships, sir. They appeared at exactly 09 Baris GMT. No warning, no communication attempts before arrival. They just showed up. Sarah stared at the screens. The ships were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. She had studied alien technology for years, but seeing complete ships was different. These were not the small scout vessels that crashed in remote areas. These were warships. "Sir, incoming transmission," a communications officer announced. The main screen flickered. Then it showed something that made everyone in the room go quiet. The alien was tall, at least 8 feet. Its body looked like a cross between an insect and a machine. 4 arms moved with precise mechanical motions. Its head was triangular with large black eyes that seemed to see everything. When it spoke, its voice came through perfectly clear, in English. "I am Ambassador Zexthal of the Hegemony. I speak for the empire that rules 847 worlds. You are the species called humans. Your planet is now under our authority." General Morrison stepped forward. "This is General Morrison of Earth's Global Defense Initiative. What do you want?" The alien's head tilted slightly. "We want nothing from you. We give you a choice. Submit to the hegemony and become our servants, or we will destroy your species completely. You have 72 hours to decide. And if we refuse to submit, then your world will be cleansed. We have done this 846 times before. No species has ever refused after seeing our power. You will not be the first." The transmission ended. The command center erupted in shouting and panic. Sarah felt her heart racing. 72 hours to surrender or die. It was not much of a choice. "General," Sarah called out, "I need to speak with you privately." Morrison nodded and led her to a smaller room. When the door closed, Sarah took a deep breath. "Sir, I think I know why they're here. The technology we've been studying, the crashed ships, they're all from the same source. These aliens, the hegemony, they've been watching us for years." "Go on." "The ship fragments we recovered show signs of battle damage. I think other species tried to escape from the hegemony and some of their ships crashed here. We've been studying their technology without knowing it." Morrison's eyes widened. "Project Prometheus?" Sarah nodded. Project Prometheus was her secret research program. For 5 years, she had been trying to combine human technology with alien designs. The results were promising but not yet complete. How close are we to making it work? Closer than they think. The neural interface system is ready for testing. The enhanced ship designs are built but not deployed. But sir, there's something else. Something I discovered in the alien DNA samples. What? Human DNA has sequences that match the alien genetic patterns. Not exactly, but close enough that our neural interface technology works with their systems. It's like humans were designed to be compatible with their technology. Morrison stared at her. Are you saying we're related to them? No, sir. I'm saying something else designed us to be able to fight them. Before Morrison could respond, alarms started blaring throughout the facility. On the screens, they watched as the alien ships began moving. Bright beams of energy shot down from each ship. Every military satellite around Earth simply stopped working. Communication networks went down. Naval fleets reported that their ships were dead in the water. The aliens had just demonstrated their power. In less than 5 minutes, they had disabled every major military system on Earth. But they had not destroyed anything. They were showing that they could have killed everyone easily but chose not to. Yet, General Morrison to all department heads. Emergency meeting in Conference Room Alpha. Now. Within an hour, the leaders of every major government were connected by emergency communication systems. The President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Britain, the leaders of China, Russia, and dozens of other nations all appeared on screens around the conference table. Ladies and gentlemen, Morrison began, we have a situation. An alien empire called the Hegemony has given us 72 hours to surrender or face extinction. They have the power to destroy us, as they just demonstrated by disabling our military systems. The British Prime Minister spoke first. What are our options, General? Surrender or fight. There is no middle ground. Fight with what? The Chinese Premier asked. They just showed us that our weapons are useless. Sarah stood up. Sir, may I address the council? Morrison nodded. Sarah had never spoken to world leaders before, but this was not a normal day. My name is Dr. Sarah Chen. I lead a classified research project that has been studying alien technology for 15 years. We have capabilities that the Hegemony does not know about. She explained Project Prometheus, how they had reverse-engineered crashed alien ships, how they had built new weapons and developed neural enhancement technology, how they had discovered the genetic connection between humans and the aliens. The neural enhancement system allows humans to think faster and coordinate perfectly. Instead of individual soldiers, we can create teams that share thoughts instantly. The alien ship designs we've built are smaller than theirs, but faster and more agile. The Russian president leaned forward. How many enhanced ships do we have? 50 prototype vessels. Each can carry a crew of 10 enhanced humans. But there's more. The enhancement process seems to unlock hidden potential in human DNA. We don't fully understand it yet, but test subjects show increased strength, faster reflexes, and the ability to understand alien technology just by touching it. How long does the enhancement process take? Asked the Japanese Prime Minister. 6 hours for basic enhancement, 12 hours for full integration, but we've only tested it on volunteers. We don't know what happens if we enhance thousands of people at once. The President of the United States spoke up. Dr. Chen, in your professional opinion, do we have a chance? Sarah thought carefully. The smart answer was no. The Hegemony had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had weapons that could destroy planets. But something about their ultimatum bothered her. Sir, if they wanted us dead, they would have killed us already. They want us to surrender because they need something from us. Maybe they need workers or soldiers or something else. That gives us an advantage. They want us alive. That's not much of an advantage against ships that can destroy planets, the French president said. No, sir, but it means they have rules, they have a pattern. They always give species a chance to surrender because they need living subjects. If we break their pattern, if we do something they don't expect, we might have a chance. Morrison looked around the room. We need to make a decision. Surrender and hope they treat us well, or fight and probably die. The debate continued for hours. Some leaders wanted to surrender. Others wanted to fight. But slowly, a consensus began to form. Humanity had never been good at accepting defeat. From the first human who picked up a stick to fight a predator, to every war in human history, the pattern was the same. Humans fought against impossible odds and sometimes won. I call for a vote, the president announced. All in favor of activating Protocol Ascension? One by one, the leaders voted. When the count was finished, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would not surrender. Dr. Chen, Morrison said, you have 60 hours to make this work. Whatever resources you need, whatever people you need, you have them. Sarah felt the weight of 7 billion lives on her shoulders. Yes, sir. We'll need to start the enhancement process immediately, and we need to get word to every major population center. When the hegemony comes for their answer, humanity needs to be ready. As the meeting ended, Sarah looked out at the alien ships still floating over Earth's cities. In 60 hours, those ships would either be retreating or beginning the destruction of human civilization. But for the first time since the aliens arrived, she felt hope. Humans had always been survivors. They had survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters. Now they would find out if they could survive the hegemony. The countdown had begun. 60 hours to save the world. Captain Marcus Rodriguez felt different. The enhancement process had finished 6 hours ago, but his mind was still changing. He could feel the thoughts of his 9 crew members as clearly as his own. When Lieutenant Kim thought about adjusting the ship's power distribution, Marcus knew it before she spoke. When Sergeant Johnson worried about the upcoming battle, Marcus felt that worry too. It was not mind reading exactly. It was more like being part of a larger mind that included all of them. Each person was still individual, but they were also connected in a way that felt completely natural. Captain, we're receiving final mission parameters, Kim reported from the navigation station. Marcus nodded, but he already knew. The information appeared in his mind at the same moment Kim received it. All 50 ships of Earth's new fleet were getting the same data. Their target was the Hegemony Task Force near Luna. 3 alien ships were stationed there, probably expecting humanity to surrender in the next 2 hours. All stations report ready, Johnson announced. Marcus looked around the bridge of the ESV, Defiance. The ship was small compared to the massive alien vessels, only 300 meters long. But it was fast and built with technology that combined the best of human engineering with alien designs. The hull was made from alien alloys that could absorb energy weapons. The engines used human fusion technology improved with alien gravitational control systems. Most importantly, the ship was designed to be operated by enhanced humans. Every control surface responded to thought as much as touch. The weapon systems aimed where the crew wanted them to aim. The ship moved like an extension of their bodies. 15 minutes to engagement, Kim reported. Through the neural link, Marcus felt the readiness of the other 49 ships. Each crew was connected like his own. But more than that, all 50 ships could share information instantly. They would fight as one unit with 500 minds working together. Message from Fleet Command, the communications officer announced. Protocol Ascension is active worldwide. Enhancement process beginning in all major population centers. Marcus felt a moment of concern. They were using 50 test subjects to enhance millions of people at once. Dr. Chen's team had run simulations, but nobody knew what would really happen when entire cities went through the process simultaneously. Sir, detecting movement from the alien ships, Kim reported. On the main screen, the 3 hegemony vessels began turning toward Earth. They had been waiting motionless for 2 days, but now they were moving. The 72-hour deadline was almost over. All ships, this is Fleet Command. Engage when ready. Remember, the goal is not to destroy them. We need to capture at least 1 ship intact. Good hunting. Marcus smiled. The aliens expected either surrender or a desperate last stand by primitive humans using primitive weapons. They were about to get neither. Take us in, Lieutenant Kim. Let's show them what humans can do. The ESV Defiance accelerated toward the alien ships. Through the neural link, Marcus felt the other 49 ships moving in perfect coordination. They approached from all directions, not in formation but in a pattern that looked random until seen from above. Then it became clear they were moving like a pack of wolves surrounding prey. Alien ships are powering weapons, Johnson reported. I see them. All ships execute pattern alpha. The 50 human ships suddenly changed direction at exactly the same moment. Instead of attacking head-on, they began moving in spirals around the 3 alien vessels. The aliens fired their massive energy weapons, but the beams passed through empty space where the human ships had been a second before. Their weapons are powerful but slow, Marcus observed through the link. They're designed to fight big ships that can't maneuver quickly. Pattern beta. all ships. Now the human fleet divided into 5 groups of 10 ships each. 3 groups continued the spiral pattern, while 2 groups dove straight at the alien ships at maximum speed. The aliens tried to track all the targets at once, but their targeting systems could not keep up. "Firing," Johnson announced. The human weapons were different from both alien and old human designs. Instead of trying to punch through heavy armor, they sent energy pulses that disrupted the alien ship's control systems. It was like giving the alien ships a seizure instead of trying to kill them with bullets. The first alien ship's lights flickered. Its weapons stopped firing. Through the neural link, Marcus felt the excitement of Ship Group 3 as they moved in for capture. "Unknown vessels, cease your attack immediately," came a transmission from the aliens. "You are interfering with hegemony operations. Withdraw or be destroyed." Marcus opened a channel. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth space vessel Defiance. You gave us 72 hours to surrender. We decline your offer. Leave our system immediately." "Impossible. Your species lacks the technology to threaten hegemony vessels. What you are doing cannot be happening." "And yet here we are," Marcus replied. The second alien ship tried to ram one of the human vessels, but the enhanced crew saw it coming long before it happened. The human ship slipped aside at the last second, and the alien ship crashed into empty space. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy signatures from Earth," Kim reported. "It looks like the enhancement process is working. Cities around the world are lighting up with neural activity." Through the neural link, Marcus began to feel something new. It was faint at first, like hearing voices in another room. But it was growing stronger. More minds were joining the network. Thousands of them. Then millions. On Earth, Dr. Chen watched the readings from the enhancement centers with amazement and worry. The process was working better than expected. Too well, maybe. People were not just getting smarter and stronger. They were changing in ways the simulations had not predicted. In New York, a construction worker named Tommy Santos touched a piece of alien debris and suddenly understood how it worked. In Tokyo, a computer programmer named Yuki Tanaka looked at alien code and began rewriting it to work better. In London, a physicist named Dr. Elizabeth Harper figured out how to improve the aliens' own energy weapons. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this," her assistant called out. On the screen was a live feed from the Enhancement Center in Sao Paulo. The people there were not just enhanced, they were working together to build something. Using scraps of alien technology and human materials, they were constructing new devices that neither species had invented alone. "They're innovating," Dr. Chen whispered. "The enhancement is not just making them smarter, it's making them creative in ways we never imagined." Back near Luna, the battle was ending. 2 of the 3 alien ships had been disabled and boarded by human crews. The third ship was trying to escape, but it was surrounded by 20 human vessels. "This is Commander Zekmar of the Hegemony Third Fleet," came a transmission. "I demand to know how you developed this technology. Our databases show humans as primitive and weak." Marcus felt the amusement of his crew through the neural link. "Maybe your databases are wrong." "Impossible. We have observed your species for 300 cycles. You have shown no signs of advanced capability. Maybe you are not looking in the right places. Or maybe," came a new voice on the channel, "you were looking at us the wrong way." Marcus recognized the voice. It was Dr. Chen speaking from Earth, but her voice sounded different, stronger, more confident. "Dr. Chen, are you enhanced now too?" Marcus asked. "We all are, Captain. The entire planet is coming online, and we're learning things about ourselves that we never knew." On the alien ship, Commander Zekmar was frantically sending messages to the main hegemony fleet. But the humans were jamming his communications using techniques they had just invented minutes ago. "Commander," Marcus said, "you have a choice. Surrender your ship, and we'll treat you with respect. Or keep fighting and find out what else humans can do when they work together." Zekmar looked at his tactical displays. His 3 ships had been defeated by 50 smaller vessels using impossible technology and tactics. His crew was reporting, that the human boarding parties understood hegemony technology better than some of his own engineers. "How is this possible?" he asked, more to himself than to the humans. "We adapt," Dr. Chen's voice came over the channel. "It's what humans do. We see something new, we learn from it, we make it better. Your mistake was giving us time to study your technology. But you only had 72 hours. 72 hours is a long time when millions of enhanced minds work on the same problem." Zekimar realized the truth. The hegemony had won 846 conquests by following the same pattern: arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, crush any resistance. It worked because most species fought the way they always fought. They used their existing technology and tactics against superior hegemony forces. But humans had not fought the way they always fought. They had transformed themselves into something new in 3 days. They had taken alien technology and improved it. They had developed new tactics that the hegemony had never seen before. "I surrender my ship," Zekimar announced. "Wise choice," Marcus replied. "Prepare to be boarded. And Commander, welcome to the new paradigm." As human crews took control of the alien ships, the neural network on Earth continued to expand. 7 billion minds were joining the enhancement network. They were not losing their individuality, but they were gaining the ability to share knowledge instantly. A farmer in Kansas who had never seen alien technology suddenly understood how to grow crops using alien agricultural techniques. A teacher in Mumbai began developing new ways to educate children using alien learning methods. A mechanic in Detroit figured out how to make human cars fly using alien gravitational technology. The transformation was not just technological, it was evolutionary. Humanity was becoming something new, something the hegemony had never encountered before. "Dr. Chen," Marcus called over the neural link, "what's our next move?" "We prepare for the real fight, Captain. These 3 ships were just scouts. The main hegemony fleet is coming, and when they get here, they're going to find that the species they expected to conquer has become something they can't understand." Marcus felt the confidence of 7 billion enhanced minds flowing through the neural link. The aliens had expected to find primitive humans with primitive weapons. Instead, they were about to face an entire species that had evolved beyond their expectations in just 72 hours. The awakening was complete. Now came the real test. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the center of the Global Neural Command Facility, watching data streams from around the world. 2 weeks had passed since the first battle near Luna. In those 2 weeks, humanity had changed more than in the previous 1,000 years. The enhancement was spreading in ways they had never predicted. Children were being born already connected to the neural network. Adults who had not been directly enhanced were developing new abilities just by being near those who had been. Most surprising of all, humans were discovering that their DNA contained dormant sequences that activated under stress. "Dr. Chen, we have incoming," announced Dr. Kim Walsh, her research partner. "Long-range sensors detect a hegemony fleet approaching the outer solar system. 63 ships." Sarah nodded. They had been expecting this. The 3 ships that Captain Rodriguez had captured near Luna were just the advance force. The real hegemony fleet was coming to investigate why their scouts had not reported back. "How long until they arrive?" 6 hours at their current speed." "Good. That gives us time to finish the preparations." Sarah walked to the main display wall. It showed the positions of Earth's new defense fleet. They now had over 500 ships, all built in the past 2 weeks using a combination of human industrial capacity and captured alien technology. But the ships were only part of Earth's new capabilities. "Status report on Project Genesis," Sarah requested. "The DNA activation process is complete in 93% of the enhanced population," Dr. Walsh reported. "We're seeing abilities that shouldn't be possible. Enhanced strength, speed, and reflexes are expected. But some subjects are demonstrating intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics, spontaneous technological innovation, and what can only be described as precognitive tactical awareness." Sarah had experienced some of these changes herself. When she looked at alien technology now, she did not just see circuits and components. She saw possibilities, ways to improve the design, new applications, modifications that the original creators had never considered. It was as if the act of studying alien technology for 15 years had prepared her brain to evolve beyond human limitations. Any word from our diplomatic missions? Captain Martinez reports success on Kepler Forum 42b. The Vaxian colony there has agreed to join our alliance. The hegemony abandoned them 6 months ago when they stopped producing enough tribute. They're eager for protection. And the Centauri system? More complicated. The hegemony garrison there is still active, but our enhanced operatives have made contact with the local resistance movement. They're interested in our neural enhancement technology. Sarah smiled. That was the beauty of the human approach. Instead of trying to conquer the galaxy like the hegemony, humans were offering to share their new abilities with other species. The neural enhancement process could be adapted for non-human biology. It was not easy, but it was possible. Doctor. Chen, priority message from Captain Rodriguez. Put him through. Captain Rodriguez appeared on the main screen. He was aboard his ship somewhere near Jupiter, leading the outer defense perimeter. But he looked different than he had 2 weeks ago. His eyes moved faster, tracking multiple data streams simultaneously. When he spoke, it was with the confidence of someone connected to thousands of other enhanced minds. Sarah, we have a problem. The incoming hegemony fleet is not just larger than expected. It's equipped with technology we haven't seen before. My technical teams are analyzing the sensor data now. What kind of technology? Weapons that can destroy planets from orbit, ships that can move faster than light inside star systems. And Sarah, they have something else. The lead ship is sending out psychic probes. Sarah felt a chill. Psychic probes? The aliens are trying to read our minds. Not the enhanced minds, they can't penetrate the neural network. But they're targeting unenhanced humans and trying to extract information about our capabilities. Can we stop them? We're working on it, but Sarah, there's something you need to know. The lead ship is not like the others, it's ancient. My enhanced crew is getting impressions of incredible age and power. I think we're about to meet someone very important in the hegemony hierarchy. The transmission ended. Sarah turned to Dr. Walsh. Initiate emergency protocols. All enhanced individuals worldwide need to link into the primary network. If we're facing psychic attacks, we need every mind we can get. Across Earth, 7 billion enhanced humans felt the call. The neural network that had started as a military communication system became something more. It became a collective consciousness that maintained individual identity while creating a shared pool of knowledge and capability. In schools, children stopped their lessons and began working together on problems that had puzzled scientists for decades. In factories, workers started modifying production lines to create new types of equipment. In research labs, teams began developing technologies that combined ideas from dozens of different scientific disciplines. But the most important changes were happening in space. Captain Rodriguez and his fleet were not just waiting for the aliens to arrive. They were adapting. Captain, the technical teams have finished analyzing the captured alien ships, Lieutenant Kim reported. We figured out how their psychic systems work. Rodriguez nodded. Through the neural link, he could feel the excitement of the research teams. They had not just learned how alien psychic technology worked, they had figured out how to make it better. The aliens use psychic energy like a tool, Kim continued. They project thoughts and try to dominate other minds. But humans seem to process psychic energy differently. Instead of being dominated by it, we absorb it and convert it into something else. Convert it into what? Enhanced creativity, faster learning, improved problem solving. It's like their psychic attacks actually make us smarter. Rodriguez felt the implications through the neural network. If humans could turn psychic attacks into advantages, then the hegemony's most powerful weapon would become humanity's greatest strength. How long until the fleet arrives? 3 hours. Sir. All ships prepare for engagement, but remember, this is not just a battle. This is a test. We need to show the hegemony that humanity is not just another species to be conquered. We're something completely new. On Earth, Sarah was coordinating with teams around the world. The neural network was operating at full capacity, with every enhanced human contributing to the collective effort. They were not just preparing for battle. They were preparing to demonstrate a new way of thinking about conflict. Dr. Chen were receiving a transmission from the Hegemony Fleet, Dr. Walsh announced. The main screen showed an alien unlike any they had seen before. It was tall and thin, with skin that seemed to shift between different colors. Its eyes were larger than those of the previous aliens, and they glowed with internal light. When it spoke, its voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate directly in the listeners' minds. I am Emperor Vexihara of the Hegemony. I have ruled this galaxy for 50,000 of your years. I come to investigate reports of impossible events in this system. Sarah stepped forward. I am Dr. Sarah Chen, speaking for the Enhanced Human Collective. We welcome you to our system, Emperor. We hope we can resolve this situation peacefully. The alien's glowing eyes narrowed. Peaceful? You have captured hegemony vessels. You have interfered with our operations. You have violated every law of galactic civilization. We have defended ourselves against an unprovoked attack. Your forces demanded our surrender or destruction. We chose a third option. There is no third option. Species either submit to the hegemony or they are eliminated. This has been the law for 50 millennia. Sarah felt the strength of the neural network behind her. 7 billion minds thinking together, sharing knowledge and creativity. Perhaps it's time for a new law. Emperor Vexihara laughed, and the sound carried psychic force that would have devastated unenhanced minds. But the enhanced humans felt the psychic energy and absorbed it, converting it into increased mental clarity and focus. You think your primitive species can challenge the hegemony? We have conquered civilizations that had existed for millions of years before your planet even formed. Maybe that's your problem, Sarah replied. You're so focused on conquering that you've forgotten how to grow. Enough. You will surrender now, or I will demonstrate the true power of the hegemony. The transmission ended. Sarah turned to her team. All stations, prepare for maximum enhancement. Link every available mind into the network. If we're going to face the psychic power of a 50,000-year-old emperor, we need every advantage we can get. In space, Captain Rodriguez felt the hegemony fleet approaching. 63 ships, each larger than anything humans had built. But size was not everything. Through the neural network, he could feel the tactical analysis of thousands of enhanced minds working together. Sir, they're not approaching like a military fleet, Lieutenant Kim observed. They're approaching like they expect us to surrender before they even fire a shot. That's their mistake, Rodriguez replied. They're still thinking of us as the species they first encountered. They don't realize we've evolved. Captain detecting massive psychic emanations from the lead ship. Emperor Vexihara is preparing some kind of psychic attack. All ships, prepare for psychic contact. Remember, we don't resist psychic energy. We absorb it and use it to become stronger. The psychic wave hit the human fleet like a tsunami of alien thought. It was designed to overwhelm human minds, to force them into submission through sheer psychic power. But instead of overwhelming the enhanced humans, the psychic energy was absorbed by the neural network and distributed among 7 billion minds. The result was not submission, it was transformation. Every enhanced human on Earth and in space, suddenly, understood alien psychology in ways they never had before. They could feel the alien emperor's thoughts, his memories, his fears. And what they learned changed everything. Emperor Vexihara was afraid. For the first time in 50,000 years, he had encountered something he could not understand or control. The humans were not just resisting his psychic power, they were learning from it. Impossible, the Emperor's voice echoed across all communication channels. No species has ever absorbed hegemony psychic energy. It should destroy your minds. Sarah's voice replied, carried by the collective will of 7 billion enhanced humans. We told you, Emperor, we adapt. It's what we do. Thank you for the lesson in psychic manipulation. We'll put it to good use. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin. But it would not be the battle the hegemony expected. It would be a confrontation between an empire that conquered through force and a species that grew through adaptation. and for the first time in 50,000 years, the outcome was uncertain. 6 months after the first alien ultimatum, Earth looked nothing like it had before. Captain Marcus Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of the ESV Prometheus, humanity's new flagship, and watched the construction of what would soon be the largest space station in the galaxy. The station was being built using techniques that combined human engineering with technology from 7 different alien species, all of them former subjects of the hegemony. All of them now allies of humanity. Captain, we're receiving final mission parameters for Operation Lighthouse, Lieutenant Kim announced through the neural link. Marcus nodded, feeling the information flow through the enhanced network that now connected not just humans but representatives from dozens of species. The neural enhancement technology had been adapted for alien biology with remarkable success. Each species brought their own unique strengths to the collective. The Vaxians contributed their mastery of biological sciences. The Karathi shared their understanding of stellar engineering. The Zephyrians offered their knowledge of interdimensional physics, and the humans provided what none of the others had, the ability to adapt and improve any technology they encountered. Status on the target systems? Marcus asked. 12 hegemony core worlds, each with a population of billions, heavy defensive networks, but our reconnaissance teams report growing unrest among the subject populations. Word of the liberation is spreading. Marcus smiled. That was the key to their strategy. They were not conquering the hegemony worlds. They were liberating them. When enhanced human operatives arrived in a system, they did not attack the defenses. They contacted the oppressed populations and offered them something the hegemony never could: freedom and the ability to enhance themselves. Sir, Dr. Chen is requesting a priority conference with all mission commanders. Put her through. Doctor, Sarah Chen appeared on the main screen, but she was no longer just speaking from Earth. The neural network now allowed enhanced individuals to project their consciousness across interstellar distances. Sarah could be physically on Earth while mentally present aboard ships throughout the galaxy. Captains, we have new intelligence about Emperor Vexhara and the hegemony leadership. Our deep space reconnaissance has discovered something important. Screen changed to show a massive structure in the center of the galaxy. It looked like a combination of space station and living organism, with tendrils of energy extending in all directions. This is the hegemony core, the Emperor's primary residence and the source of his psychic power. Our analysis suggests that Vexhara is not just the leader of the hegemony. He's a psychic parasite that feeds on the mental energy of enslaved populations. Marcus felt a chill through the neural link. Are you saying he gets stronger when he has more slaves? Exactly. Every species the hegemony conquers provides psychic energy that feeds back to the Emperor. It's why the Empire has grown so large. Each conquest makes them more powerful. But that means our liberation efforts are weakening him, observed Captain Yuki Tanaka from the ESV Rising Sun. Correct. Every world we free reduces his power base. But there's more. The dormant DNA sequences we discovered in humans? They're not natural. They're artificial modifications made by an ancient species called the Architects. The screen showed images of ruins found on distant worlds. Architecture that was beautiful and impossibly complex, clearly built by beings far more advanced than any current galactic civilization. The Architects disappeared 50,000 years ago, right around the time the hegemony began expanding. We think they created humanity as a failsafe against psychic parasites like Vexhara. Marcus stared at the images. We're a weapon? You're a cure, Sarah corrected. The enhancement process doesn't just make humans smarter and stronger. It turns them into psychic healers. When enhanced humans interact with enslaved populations, they break the psychic bonds that keep them under hegemony control. Through the neural link, Marcus felt the excitement of the research teams. Humanity was not just another galactic species. They were the solution to a 50,000-year-old problem. That's why the Emperor is so afraid of us, Sarah continued. We're not just threatening his empire. We're threatening his existence. Every enhanced human is like an antibody designed to destroy psychic parasites. What's our mission priority? Asked Captain Elena Vasquez from the ESV Freedom's Call. Operation Lighthouse proceeds as planned. We hit all 12 core worlds simultaneously, but our objective is not military victory. It's psychic liberation. Every being we free from hegemony control weakens the Emperor and strengthens our network. The conference ended, but the neural link remained active. Marcus could feel the determination of hundreds of enhanced crews preparing for the largest liberation operation in galactic history. They were not just fighting for Earth anymore. They were fighting to free an entire galaxy from 50,000 years of psychic enslavement. Captain, detecting movement in the target system, Lieutenant Kim reported. The hegemony forces are taking defensive positions. Marcus looked at the tactical display. The Kepler-78 system contained one of the most important hegemony worlds, with a population of 12 billion beings from 6 different species. The orbital defenses included planet-killer weapons and a fleet of 200 warships. They're expecting a conventional attack, Marcus observed. They don't understand what we're really doing. Sir, incoming transmission from the system governor. The screen showed a hegemony official, a tall insectoid being with the characteristic black eyes and 4 arms. But something was different about this one. Its movements were stiff and mechanical, as if it was being controlled by something else. Unknown vessels. You are entering restricted hegemony space. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. Marcus opened a channel. This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth Liberation Fleet. We're here to offer the people of this system a choice. There are no choices in hegemony space. There is only obedience to the Emperor. Maybe it's time for something new. The alien's eyes flickered, and for a moment Marcus saw something that looked like consciousness trying to break through. Then the moment passed, and the mechanical tone returned. You will be destroyed. The transmission ended. Marcus felt sad. Through the neural link. The hegemony official was not evil. He was a slave, controlled by psychic bonds that prevented him from thinking freely. All ships begin Operation Lighthouse. Remember, our weapons are not meant to destroy, they're meant to liberate. The human fleet moved into the system, but not toward the military targets. Instead, they headed for the civilian population centers. As they approached, the ships began broadcasting something the hegemony had never encountered. Pure, unfiltered human creativity and freedom of thought. The effect was immediate. On the planets below, beings who had lived their entire lives under psychic control suddenly felt their minds clearing. The constant background noise of hegemony indoctrination faded away, replaced by the simple ability to think their own thoughts. Captain, we're receiving thousands of communications from the planetary surface, Kim reported with excitement. They're not distress calls. They're thank you messages. Marcus watched the tactical display as something unprecedented happened. The hegemony fleet, instead of attacking the human ships, began to turn their weapons on their own orbital defense platforms. The crews of the warships were being liberated by proximity to the enhanced humans. This is Admiral Kexthul of the Hegemony Defense Force, came a transmission. But the voice was different now. Instead of the mechanical tone of the controlled, it carried emotion and individual personality. Human vessels, we request permission to join your liberation fleet. Marcus felt the joy of his crew through the neural link. Permission granted. Admiral, welcome to freedom. Across the system, similar scenes were playing out. Planetary governors were throwing off their psychic chains. Military commanders were turning against their hegemony overseers. Civilian populations were experiencing independent thought for the first time in their lives. But the most important change was happening in the space between stars. Each liberated being added their psychic energy to the human neural network. The collective consciousness was growing stronger and more diverse with every mind that joined it. Sir, long-range sensors are detecting similar results in all 12 target systems, Kim reported. Operation Lighthouse is succeeding beyond our projections. Marcus nodded, but through the neural link he could feel something else, a tremor, in the psychic fabric of the galaxy. Emperor Vexhara was experiencing the loss of 12 core worlds simultaneously. 50,000 years of accumulated psychic energy was being severed from his control. Captain, priority transmission from Dr. Chen. Sarah appeared on the screen, but her expression was concerned. Marcus, "We have a problem. The Emperor is not responding to the liberation the way we expected. Instead of getting weaker, he's consolidating his remaining power." "What does that mean?" "He's abandoning the outer territories and pulling all his forces back to the galactic core. He's going to make a final stand using the psychic energy of the remaining enslaved populations." Through the neural link, Marcus felt the implications. The Emperor was willing to sacrifice half his empire to maintain control of the core systems. Billions of beings would remain enslaved so that he could maintain his power. "We can't let that happen," Marcus said. "No, we can't. Which is why we're implementing the final phase of the plan. We're going to take the war directly to the hegemony core." Marcus felt a thrill of anticipation through the neural network. They had spent 6 months liberating the outer worlds. Now it was time to free the heart of the galaxy itself. "What do you need from us, Sarah?" "Everything we have. Every ship, every enhanced mind, every liberated species. We're going to assault the most heavily defended location in the galaxy, and we're going to do it with the power of free will against 50,000 years of psychic tyranny." As the transmission ended, Marcus looked around his bridge. His crew was ready. The liberated populations of 12 star systems were ready, and somewhere in the galactic core, an ancient psychic parasite was about to learn what happened when an entire galaxy decided to be free. The ascension was almost complete. Now came the final test. The center of the galaxy had never seen anything like it. A fleet of 10,000 ships from 47 different species approached the hegemony core, but they were not coming as conquerors. They were coming as liberators, united by the enhanced human neural network that now connected billions of free minds across the galaxy. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the center of the command ship, but her consciousness extended far beyond her physical location. Through the neural link, she could feel the thoughts and emotions of every being in the liberation fleet. Humans, Vaxians, Karathi, Zephyrians, and dozens of other species, all working together with a coordination that the old galaxy had never imagined possible. "Status report," she requested, and the information flowed through the network instantly. "All ships report ready," came the response from Captain Rodriguez. "Liberation teams are prepared for deployment. Psychic shielding is at maximum." "Readings from the hegemony core?" Sarah asked. "Massive psychic emanations. Emperor Vexahara has pulled the remaining slave populations from across the galaxy to this location. We estimate over 1 trillion beings are being held in psychic bondage to power his final defense." Sarah felt the weight of that number. 1 trillion enslaved minds, their psychic energy being drained to feed an ancient parasite who saw himself as the rightful ruler of the galaxy. It was exactly what the architects had feared 50,000 years ago when they created the human modifications. "Dr. Chen, we're receiving a transmission from the Emperor," announced the communications officer. The main screen showed Emperor Vexahara, but he looked different than before. His form seemed more substantial, more solid. The psychic energy of 1 trillion enslaved minds had made him more powerful than ever. "So the humans and their allies come to their destruction." The Emperor's voice resonated through both normal communication channels and psychic space. "Do you truly believe you can challenge 50,000 years of hegemony rule?" Sarah stepped forward. She was no longer just a human scientist. She was the focal point of the largest collective consciousness in galactic history, speaking for billions of free minds. "We're not here to challenge your rule, Emperor. We're here to end it. Your time is over." Vexahara laughed, and the sound carried psychic force that would have shattered unenhanced minds. "You forget who you are speaking to. I have consumed the psychic energy of nearly 1,000 species. I am more powerful now than when this conversation began." "Power built on slavery is not true power," Sarah replied. "It's just accumulated weakness. Philosophical nonsense. Observe true power." The Emperor raised his arms, and Sarah felt the psychic assault begin. It was unlike anything they had faced before. The combined psychic energy of 1 trillion enslaved minds, focused through an entity that had 50,000 years of experience in mental domination. But something unexpected happened. Instead of overwhelming the liberation fleet, The psychic energy was absorbed by the neural network and transformed. The attack that was meant to destroy became fuel for enhanced creativity and problem-solving. Impossible, Vexahara said, his confidence shaking for the first time. You still don't understand, Sarah said, feeling the strength of the network flowing through her. You see psychic energy as a tool for control. We see it as a medium for cooperation. You try to dominate minds. We invite them to join us freely. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the tactical situation developing. The hegemony defensive fleet was enormous, with thousands of warships protecting the core station. But something strange was happening. Ships at the edges of the formation were beginning to slow down, then stop completely. Captain Rodriguez, what's happening to their outer ships? The crews are being liberated, Dr. Chen, just by being in proximity to our neural network. The psychic bonds holding them are starting to break. Sarah realized what was happening. The Emperor had concentrated so many enslaved minds in one location that they were creating a psychic critical mass. The neural network was not just affecting the liberation fleet anymore. It was beginning to spread to the enslaved populations. All ships, begin the liberation pattern, Sarah ordered. We're not going to fight our way to the core. We're going to free everyone between here and there. The liberation fleet began moving in a complex pattern that brought them into contact with as many hegemony ships as possible. Each contact was like lighting a candle in the darkness. Enslaved minds began to remember what it felt like to think freely. Status on the planetary populations? Sarah asked. Massive psychic resonance building on all core worlds. The enslaved populations are beginning to resist the control bonds. Sir, I'm reading spontaneous liberation events on 12 planets simultaneously. Emperor Vexahara felt his empire crumbling around him. The psychic energy he had relied on for 50 millennia was being turned against him. Worse, he was beginning to understand what the humans really were. You are the Architect's final weapon, he said, his voice carrying both fury and fear. We're their gift to the galaxy, Sarah corrected. They didn't create us to destroy you. They created us to heal the damage you've done. I will not be defeated by a species that barely learned to use fire when I was already ancient. The Emperor's form began to change. The psychic energy of the remaining enslaved populations flowed into him, making him larger and more monstrous. He was transforming himself into a creature of pure psychic force, abandoning his physical form to become something that existed only in the realm of consciousness. If I cannot rule the galaxy, then I will destroy every mind in it rather than see them free. Sarah felt the Emperor's intention through the neural network. He was preparing to release all the psychic energy he had accumulated in a single burst that would destroy the consciousness of every being in the galactic core. Trillions would die, but he would deny the liberation fleet their victory. All enhanced minds prepare for full neural integration, Sarah announced across the network. This was the moment they had been preparing for. Not just humans, but every species that had joined the neural network would merge their consciousness into a single entity, capable of matching the Emperor's power. The merger was unlike anything that had ever happened in galactic history. 47 different species, each with their own unique way of thinking, combined their mental abilities into something greater than the sum of its parts. Human adaptability, merged with Vaxian biological intuition, Karathi stellar engineering, and Zephyrian interdimensional perception. The result was a collective consciousness that spanned the entire galaxy, connected by the quantum-level neural enhancements that the architects had hidden in human DNA 50,000 years ago. Now, Sarah said, speaking with the voice of billions, let us show you what true power looks like. The confrontation that followed took place not in normal space but in the realm of pure consciousness. Emperor Vexahara, powered by the enslaved minds of 1 trillion beings, faced the collective will of an entire galaxy choosing freedom. The battle was brief, but intense. The Emperor's psychic power was vast, but it was based on stolen energy from unwilling minds. The Liberation Network drew its strength from beings who had chosen to join it freely. In the realm of consciousness, free will was always stronger than forced obedience. When it was over, Emperor Vexahara was gone. Not destroyed, but transformed. The psychic energy that had sustained him for 50,000 years was returned to its rightful owners. Across the galactic core, A trillion enslaved minds suddenly found themselves free for the first time in their lives. "It's over," Sarah announced, her consciousness slowly separating from the collective while maintaining the neural link. "The hegemony is finished." But even as she said it, she knew that was not entirely true. The hegemony as a force of oppression was gone, but the civilization it had created still existed. Billions of beings on thousands of worlds needed help learning how to be free after generations of enslavement. Captain Rodriguez began Phase 2 operations. Liberation teams to all core worlds, medical and psychological support for the freed populations, and open communication channels to anyone who wants to join the network voluntarily. "What about the former hegemony leadership?" Rodriguez asked. Sarah looked at the tactical display. Throughout the core systems, former hegemony officials were removing their control implants and experiencing independent thought for the first time. Many of them were not evil, just enslaved like everyone else. They get the same choice as everyone else: join us freely or go their own way. But no one gets enslaved ever again. Over the following months, the galaxy transformed. The rigid hierarchy of the hegemony gave way to a loose confederation of free worlds connected by the neural network. Species that had been enemies for millennia discovered they could cooperate when they were not being manipulated by psychic parasites. Trade flourished, as beings shared knowledge freely, instead of hoarding it. Scientific advancement accelerated, as researchers from different species combined their unique perspectives. Art and culture bloomed as creative minds were no longer constrained by imperial censorship. Most importantly, the enhancement technology spread to any species that wanted it. Not forced on anyone, but offered freely to those who chose to join the galactic neural network. Each new member brought their own unique strengths and perspectives, making the collective consciousness richer and more diverse. A year after the liberation of the galactic core, Sarah stood in her laboratory on Earth, looking out at the stars. They no longer seemed distant and hostile. They were stepping stones to new discoveries, new friendships, new possibilities. "Dr. Chen," her assistant called out, "we're receiving applications from 17 new species wanting to join the network." Sarah smiled. "Process them through the standard protocols: full medical scans, psychological evaluation, and voluntary consent documentation. And make sure they understand that joining the network means contributing to it, not just benefiting from it." "Yes, sir." "Oh, and Dr. Chen, Ambassador Zexthul is requesting a meeting." Sarah was surprised. Zexthul was the same alien who had delivered humanity's ultimatum over a year ago. He had been one of the first former hegemony officials to remove his control implants and experience free will. "Send him in." Zexthul entered the laboratory, but he looked completely different than he had during the ultimatum. His movements were fluid and natural instead of mechanical. His eyes showed intelligence and personality instead of empty obedience. Most surprisingly, he was smiling. "Dr. Chen, I wanted to thank you personally before I leave for the Andromeda expedition." "The Andromeda expedition?" "A joint mission with 12 species to establish contact with the civilizations in the neighboring galaxy. We want to share what we've learned about cooperation and freedom." Sarah felt a surge of pride through the neural network. The species that had once conquered through force was now spreading freedom to other galaxies. "That's wonderful, Ambassador. The network will be with you even at that distance." "I know. And Dr. Chen, on behalf of the 47 species in the Confederation, I want to say something. When I delivered that ultimatum to humanity, I expected you to surrender or die. I never imagined you would teach us all how to live." As Zexthul left, Sarah returned to her work. There was still so much to do. The galaxy was free, but freedom was not an end point. It was a beginning. The neural network was not just a tool for liberation. It was a foundation for something entirely new. Humanity had been created by the architects as a solution to the problem of psychic parasites, but they had become something more. They had become teachers, showing an entire galaxy that cooperation was stronger than domination, that diversity was more valuable than uniformity, that freedom was not just the absence of slavery, but the presence of infinite possibility. The stars beckoned, no longer as distant lights but as beacons of hope. Somewhere out there, other civilizations might be struggling under their own versions of the hegemony. And when they were ready, they would find that help was on the way. The ascension was complete, but the journey was just beginning.